You know, I really think that Season 8 has really just been starting to just weigh on me very heavily, because it seems like a lot of episodes that I've gone over in the last part, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of them. The Mod Couple was senseless. Fake It Till You Make It was just a lazy rip-off episode. Non-compete clause was the worst offender of in order to make the new characters look good, we had to make the old characters look bad. March for Efforts was a complete and utter dumpster fire. The Mean Six was pointless. A Matter of Principles was insulting. Friendship with University, while debatable, raises a lot of red flags. The End and Friend is another been near done that. Yakety Sax was a complete another mind fuck. The Road to Friendship was boring. And The Washouts was good up until the final third act. And The Rock Hook in the Hard Place was completely stupid. I, for one, have now starting to see that the negative impact of Season 8 are really starting to drive me nuts. But, like I said, I haven't given up hope, because I've always hurled out that the overarching story of Season 8, there could potentially be a huge payoff with 4, technically 5 episodes left of the season. And I think we might finally get that. This is what lies beneath. So this episode begins at Friendship University as Twilight is giving a lecture on the Tree of Friendship, on the Tree of Harmony.
And though it has been at the root of magic and friendship from the moment it was planted,
She said the thing.
Its ways are mysterious, almost as if it has a mind of its own. Mind? It's a tree. A tree that grew a castle.
A tree that grew a castle and pretty much helped save Equestria from T-Rex, so shows what you know.
Was that before or after Discord made chocolate rain? After. I'm never gonna learn pony history.
I think that's what everybody is when they have to study a history class at college. That's pretty much how I feel. But yeah, basically what it boils down to is that most of the young six outside of Sandbar are basically struggling to study the history of pony history. As we basically go outside where they tried to study for it, and Gallus gives this humorous bit.
There's only one place to go. Hello, oh magical equestrian tree. Can you tell me everything I need to know about friendship?
Okay, that was pretty humorous. I smell foreshadowing! So after the theme, we basically cut to the library where the young six try to study for the test, but we see that while Ocellus and Sandbar are trying to be helpful, the rest of the young six aren't seem to get it.
Harmony grew the tree? No, the pillar grew the tree.
The tree grew the elements, and then the box with 6 locks.
But our professors found 6 keys and unlocked the box.
I think this is probably the bronies that basically came into the show extremely late and probably skipped over every other season and just got into this episode without seeing Season 4.
I'm so gonna fail.
An absolute mood that everybody says when they have no idea how to study.
You guys, check this out! That's a plumbing diagram on how to fix a sink.
What does that have to do with equestrian history?
Nothing. I just can't believe that's how sinks work.
That's good to know. So then they see that Yuna ended up falling asleep, because I'm sure she was probably bored studying, and then Gallus decides to play a trick on her.
Fire! Oh no!
Oh yeah, and like I said, even though I said throughout the time that she's appeared, Cozy Glow since Marks for Efforts, since that episode that shall not be named ever again, Cozy Glow has essentially now become a more central character for the rest of the season. And while she hasn't been on screen a whole lot and a lot more speaking, this is one of those episodes where it starts to come into full fruition. And she gives the young six some questionable advice.
I volunteered to help Professor Sparkle organize these books. So, experts on friendship history yet? I think I'd be better off studying the plumbing book. This stuff is impossible. Oh, come on.
So even though the young six try to basically try to find the positive side of things, Cozy Glow gives this.
fuck did you just say?
Go ahead, Cozy. What is it the disadvantage you want to enlighten us on them?
What do ponies mean? Just consider where you all came from. If Sandbar hadn't sacrificed so much of his time to get you up to speed, who knows how behind you'd be?
That's not what...
I mean, growing up as a love-starved changeling? Or hiding underwater from an evil king all those years? Trusting any creature must be so hard for you.
Are you fucking with us right now?
And griffins never want to be around any creature, even other griffins. And dragons are so fierce compared to us. There must be days you can't wait to get away from all us cute ponies. Every pony knows yaks think yaks are best. Making friends with any other creature must seem like a step down.
Bitch, let me tell you something. You shut the fuck up.
I think that's what I would tell her in this situation, because it seems very out of left field, and there's heavy foreshadowing implied of all this, on top of some of the foreshadowing that I had mentioned in both Marks for Efforts and Friendship University. The way that she talks to them comes off as very manipulative, but also at the same time very condescending.
It's just so impressive how you keep trying to understand friendship, even though it isn't in your nature. Oh, I'll let you borrow my notes. It's what friends do. I'll be right back.
Yeah, well, fuck you too!
We should get back to studying.
So anyways, while the Young Six tried to study, it doesn't end up going anywhere, but then Silverstream finds a very giant crystal-looking thing in a vent underneath the school, and so the Young Six decide to go beneath it.
Did we know this was down here?
I don't think any pony knows this is down here.
Then they come across a crystallized twilight.
Welcome.
Headmare Twilight? Where are we?
Where you need to be. You're not confused. It is as I feared. You are not one. What has happened? We were studying friendship's effect on history, but then...
Since friendship just isn't in our nature, what's the point?
You do not believe friendship is in your nature? That is not acceptable!
What, does Twilight now have the powers of the Force now?
Our Headmare is glowing, you guys! What is going on? We should probably get back to studying for the test. A test, yes. By sunrise, this door will be closed. Finish the test before then, and you may go. Fail the test, and here you will stay.
Okay, that's a bit eerie. So I think obviously we, the audience, know it's not exactly Twilight, but obviously given that the Tree of Harmony was brought up in this episode, and I think what we will know in the future is that essentially this crystallized version of a Jedi ghost sort of thing is essentially the Tree of Harmony giving a holographic version of Twilight put into Young Six to a test, as the tree basically then decides to separate all of the Young Six. But we then see, when we go with Silverstream, we see that she basically comes across Mount Ares, but can't seem to find any creature, but then comes across a couple familiar shadows. I think he probably got the powers of Freddy Krueger that brought him back from the dead. We then cut over to Gallus as we see him basically come across a very tight case. But apparently we see that when he goes into a reflective light, the room ends up getting smaller.
Not cool.
So then we cut over to Yona, who then basically is in a massive cave that seems like it was entangled by spiders. And I think pretty much we all know where the rest of the Hess is going to go. Because essentially what the test is that the Tree of Harmony is doing is that it's essentially forcing the young six to confront their greatest fears. From what we saw of Silverstream, she seems to have massive PTSD from the takeover of the Storm King. Gallus appears to be claustrophobic, and Yona appears to be arachnophobic. We then cut over to Smolder, who basically ends up in a never-ending loop when she comes across a tea set of two ponies that dabble on all things cute.
Let's compliment each other.
We then cut to Ocellus, who comes across a bunch of changelings who look like the old design, but then we see that she ends up transforming into Chrysalis, having some serious guilt conscious of basically being part of the evil changelings and believing that she's guilty by association of all the things that Chrysalis has done wrong. We then cut to Sambar, who essentially is basically pulled into a friendship mission with Rarity and Rainbow Dash. And I'm putting that in quotes because we know that it's just another test by the tree.
My first friendship adventure. Yes, count me in. I've been waiting for this. Wait, the others.
We don't need them. We need you. Come on.
Yeah. So, like I said, basically this episode also gives us the great insights of what the greatest fears of each of the young six has to go through. As I said, Silverstream seems to be suffering from severe PTSD. Gallus is claustrophobic. Yona has arachnophobia from what we saw of the prank that Gallus did earlier in the episode. Smolder doesn't want to admit that she likes cute things. Ocellus has severe guilt conscious for basically being under the rule of a tyrant and Queen Chrysalis. And basically Sambar doesn't want to let his idols down in the main six. Speaking of Gallus, we basically then cut to him as he tries to figure out how to get out by trying to find a way out, but as the room gets smaller and smaller, he starts to panic.
Gallus, get together. Deep breath. Okay, this is a test. There's got to be a way out. Just a puzzle. That will squash you.
Now, I know that some people, mainly Zayd Magenta, said that basically Gallus' test had nothing to do with friendship because it seems like it would have caused a lot of stress on him. But I think one commenter basically summed up what exactly the test that Gallus had to go through. Because it's very clear that a lot of the tests that the Young Six are going through are essentially tests that are the friendship. And honestly, Gallus can be made for a debate for that because he said that his test had nothing to do with friendship. But I think one commenter basically summed up what Gallus' lesson in friendship would be. Is that his lesson was about overcoming claustrophobia. It's important because he's made a tough guy facade for himself and hiding his fears in limiting his ability to open up to others. That, I think, basically justifies this lesson and why I think it's definitely a huge step up from Gallus. And besides, there are other characters in media that have this tough guy persona, but we see that there are really big softies. 4 examples that I can think of at the top of my head. Kanji Tatsumi for Persona 4, Mondo Iwata in Danganronpa, Fuyuhiko Kuzuryu in Danganronpa 2, and the biggest one, the most recent one I came across, Ryoma Tarasaka in Assassination Classroom. They all have similar arcs to Gallus, and while some might be short-lived than others, and Kanji's is really more debatable, but we'll get more into that. But
Don't figure it out.
But basically, getting back to Gallus, he quickly figures out that, and he touches a blue light, the room will actually open up, but touching a purple light will cause the room to get smaller. So we see that Gallus is able that, in spite of some mistakes, he gets past his fear and basically is able to get out of the room. And this is what I like. Even though it was short and simple for Gallus to quickly get over, this is an important lesson of friendship because he puts on this tough guy act, and that makes it difficult for him to open up to others. And the 4 examples that I listed earlier of those 4 characters, they were all perceived to be tough guys who had difficulty opening up to other people because they were scared of being rejected. Mondo basically had to hide his own weakness from others because he didn't want to be perceived as weak and that he was this strong person. Fuyuhiko was the same thing, where he basically put on this tough guy act back because he didn't want to risk losing anyone else that was close to him, but then losing Peko caused him to change his ways. And if you've seen Assassination Classroom, Tarasaka basically started out as the tough guy who basically didn't care about how anyone else's feelings, but then when he put his classmates in danger, he realized he made a massive mistake, and he learned from it. This was also a great character to grow up where he actually stuck up for Kuro-sensei, and even helped out with Itana to get acquainted with Class E. So the fact that some people say that Gallus' test had nothing to do with friendship, I think is utter bullshit. And with the other examples that I can listed, you can reroute Gallus' character to basically mainly Fuyuhiko and Tarasaka. We then see that Smolder's also... We also then see that Smolder basically realizes what the test is and basically has no choice but to give in. And this is kind of what I was alluding to, where basically Smolder's test is kind of like what Kanji was, where he basically tried to put on this tough guy act, but he liked cute things, but he always got made fun of it wherever he opened up to it. So I think Kanji and Smolder have a lot of interconnected things going on with this moment.
I don't know. It seems like she's afraid to be cute and adorable, doesn't it?
Or maybe she's just afraid to admit she likes being cute and adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Just this once.
May I have some tea, please?
Oh, but you can't have tea if you aren't dressed for it.
Okay, but let's keep this between us.
So we basically see that, admittedly, Smolder looks adorable, as she basically then gives in and does become part of the tea party. Of course, it's also interesting to note that the last tea party she went to, things did not turn out well for one person. Because... yeah, that did not turn out so well for the last guy, for the last tea party she went to. No. So, like I said, so we then basically cut back to Yona, who, as I said, because she has severe arachnophobia, she comes across a horde of spiders and runs away in fear. But essentially we see that she's a gentle giant because we see that one of the spiders basically comes through and Yona actually decides to basically realize that she can make friends with any creature and she lets her fear go.
Yona, no means to scream. Yona loves making friends. Spiders, friends? Oh wait, what little spider say?
So yeah, so we see that she's able to get over her fears really fastly. We see that Gallus and Smolder reunite.
What happened to you?
What happened to you?
I can explain.
You never saw any of that. Got it.
Maybe the others got out already and we're the last ones?
Yeah, that totally seems like something they would do.
Any other dragon or griffin would save themselves and get out of this crazy cave.
Guess we aren't just any dragon and griffin anymore.
Guess not. You go that way, I'll check over there.
I really like this scene a lot because it really goes to show how far Smolder and Gallus have become since the season began, where they seem to be more close off, a little snarky in places, but seem to be basically, well, not attuned to friendship. But especially with Gallus, given the growth that we saw in the Heartswarming Club for him, it's really starting to rub off on him. But this episode demonstrates of how friendship is starting to rub off on Smolder as well. From what is arguably to be two of the most selfish races from what we have saw through the history of the show, we see how much Gallus and Smolder have changed. So they basically go to help out the rest of the young six, and while Sambor still gets held back by the illusions of Rarity and Rainbow Dash and not wanting to disappoint his idols, we then come across Smolder, who basically tries to help out Ocellus, but thinks that she's Chrysalis, but she's able to figure it out rather quickly.
Chrysalis! Where's Ocellus? It's me! I'm hideous!
We then cut over to Gallus, who basically tries to find Silverstream, but because Silverstream previously mentioned PTSD, she basically he basically drags him down and realizes and basically wants to keep her safe. And we get this really strong moment from Silverstream as to why she has this great fear of the Storm King.
Any hypocrite Dorothy.
Okay, that's horrifying.
I can't find any hypocrite Dorothy. They must all be captured. Gallus! Get back down here!
But thanks to Gallus, we discovered that basically the fear was basically of the Storm King. All the shallows that Silverstream had seemed are basically just rock formations. And given what we saw of the Storm King, we know for a fact that he's dead. But like I said, this is part of Silverstream's test where she's suffering massive PTSD, where even the most simple rock formations can seem like the worst nightmare you can come across.
It's not real.
Yes, it is! He's back and I'm never gonna see another sunset or fly through a cloud or study plumbing! He's gonna take away everything I love! I'm gonna be trapped down here forever!
I'm afraid of being trapped too. I'm scared of small spaces.
Really?
Yeah. I was stuck in a room that kept shrinking, but I realized that I had to face my fear, and I found a way out. This is your test. He isn't really here.
Yeah, so to anyone who says that Gallus' test serves no purpose as a friendship test, something to keep in mind. He never opened up about this before, about this fear, because he puts on this tough guy act. But when he realizes his fear and sees someone else suffering through the same pain, he opens up to that creature and lets him know that it's okay to be afraid and that it's okay to let your guard down around your closest friends. So to anyone who says that Gallus' test has nothing to do with friendship, you are a big fat liar. So because of this, Silverstream works up the courage to basically tell off the Storm King. And while this is supposed to be a serious moment, it's kind of ruined with the over-dramatized faces in the animation. And while this wouldn't normally be a bad thing, since it is very wide and expressive from Silverstream, the problem is that this is supposed to be a serious moment, and there's just a lot of meme-warming faces when Silverstream tells off the Storm King that it's kind of hard to take this moment seriously.
Hey! Storm King! You're nothing but a big old bully with a silly name and a goofy crown! You thought you could scare us into doing whatever you wanted, but we learned that together we're stronger than you! And now that we're rid of you, we're gonna soar through the sky and go on adventures and never give you another thought ever!
Like I said, while this is a great moment, like I said, Silverstream's faces kind of just ruin it a bit. But it's not all bad. And plus, I think maybe she would have gotten a lot more points if she would have told the Storm King this.
I am a fighter. I get done. So please understand, we weren't vendettas coming into this, but you just may want to trust me. Anybody will tell you you'd rather have me than a friend than as an enemy.
Yeah, I think they would have gotten the point. But it's because of Gallus' encouragement that Silverstream does end up overcoming her fears.
Okay. Hug time later.
Shipping.
We still have to get back to the library.
So then we see that Smolder tries to be a courage to Ocellus, and basically she's unable to change because she still has this really deep guilt conscience of being, well, guilty by association of the original ruler of the Changelings. But we see that Smolder is able to open up to try to get Ocellus to let that guard down.
You've changed. Maybe we can't really change that much.
I like you silly stuff.
I'm sorry, what? I like cute, silly stuff. Ever since school started, I've realized that sometimes I kind of don't mind cute stuff. If a dragon like me can admit she likes tea parties, that's proof we can change. I was gonna invite you to a top secret tea party with me, but if you want to stay down here... Oh, no, I want to come. I thought that might work. Come on, let's go.
So we see reunite, we do see that because Yona got over her arachnophobia, the spiders were able to guide her way out to reunite with the others.
Hey, Yona! Who's your spider army? Yona always scared of spiders, but then Yona meets Fizzle! Yona realized no reason to be afraid. Spiders and Yak friends! So Yona asked new friends for help finding old friends!
Do you think your new friends can help us find Sandbar?
So meanwhile, when we cut back to Sandbar, who basically, while the illusions of Rarity and Rainbow Dash continue to try guilt-tripping him into going in an endless circle, he finally has had enough.
Okay, enough! I'm not going anywhere without my friends.
So you don't care about any pony but your friends? Are you really that selfish? Honestly, you really are such a disappointment.
I've always looked up to you. You would never turn your back on each other, and that's what makes you strong. Now I have a group of friends that I think is every bit as amazing as yours. I have to give up on them to make you proud. You aren't the ponies I thought you were. I don't care if I disappoint you. You disappoint me.
You would have been nice to tell them this off.
And we know she's awesome. She's freaking amazing. A million times better than you. So shut the fuck up, you idiot.
But we see that was all part of the test.
Here,
Friends actually are professors. Besides, they try to get between me and my friends.
that's all very sweet. Now can we please get out of here?
So while the Young Six try to escape, basically the Tree of Harmony basically gives the version back as Sandbar is the first to point this out, as we do get why the Tree of Harmony did
You're not
this.
Handman Twilight, are you?
You're the Tree of Harmony! The Tree of Harmony turned into a sparkly version of our head mirror to talk to us? Did I miss a chapter in class?
Like all living things, I change as I grow. As I have grown, so have my abilities.
I'm a bit rusty on pony history, but since when does the Tree of Harmony trap creatures in a cave with their biggest fears?
You chose what you saw in my roots, not me.
Our friendship got us past our fears.
You were more concerned with each other's well-being than your own. You were strong when your friends were weak. You let each other in and showed that you would be there for each other no matter what.
And those listings of examples proves that every single test that the Young Six did in this episode are proof that every single one of them, to each and every one of them, served a purpose. I'm not going to make this into another diatribe because I'm not going to sit here and argue with other people's opinion, but just note that because every single creature was more cared about their well-beings rather than just wanting to get out of there, it shows how far they all came after the first episode.
Friendship is in your nature.
Yeah, so suck on that, Cozy.
We just learned a friendship lesson from a tree, didn't we?
Yes. Yes, you did, Gallus. So they eventually get out and, speak of the devil.
You're all right. I came back with my notes and saw this and didn't know what to think. We're better than all right. We just got tested by the Tree of Harmony. And we totally passed. Tree of Harmony? Here? Yeah, well, below here, under the school. We found this and went down and met the tree, and Gallus was all, friendship is not in our nature. And the tree was like, Long story short, friendship is in our nature. The tree said so.
So you can suck it.
I guess we should tell some pony there's a giant magical hole in the library. Or not.
We have to tell our professors about this. They won't believe that.
You can't. Why no? Because it's my fault. You were all getting along so well and I felt left out. I was jealous. And it upset you so much the Tree of Harmony had to test you. Oh, I'm gonna get expelled for sure. Please don't tell any pony about...
You're a liar! You're a liar! Big boy liar!
That's kind of what I want to say, because there's a lot of foreshadowing. So the Young Six end up passing out because I'm assuming that they had been under the school the whole night, and then we get...
Songbird, you get some rest. Don't give any of this another thought. Just let Cozy take care of everything.
Well, that's f***ing ominous.
Yeah, that's all I can say. So that's what lies beneath. I think the angry video game nerd reacting to Spider-Man and Maximum Carnage made by LJN, I think his reaction can sum up my feelings about this episode.
Oh my god. They did it. They pulled through. Oh my god. They made a game. It's not a steaming pile of fucking shit. Oh my god. They did it. They made a game. That's not shit. I found the gold at the end of the rainbow. Oh, maybe it's not gold. Maybe it's bronze or something, but they made a game! It's not shit! It's not shit!
Yeah, that about describes this episode. This is one of the best of the season. I really thoroughly enjoyed this episode. What I like about this episode is that it each dives into all the deepest fears of the Young Six, really kind of demonstrating how far each and every one of them came. And I hate to keep harping on this, but every single test and every fears that the Young Six went through, they all served a purpose. And while I am not really a fan of Cozy Glow's quote-unquote behavior, the amount of foreshadowing is giving me so much excitement. The foreshadowing, the build-up with this episode, and learning more about the Tree of Harmony and how far it's been advancing really goes to show that a lot has changed over the course of the show. And the entire time, I felt engaged when seeing each character's journey, knowing what their biggest fears are and how they overcame them. Some of them were better than others, but every single one of them served a purpose. And the entire time, I was engaged. And that's the thing that I liked about this episode, when it revolves around huge character growth for our new characters and advancing more a bit of the story. And it makes me, and this episode shows that there is light at the end of the tunnel and that the season will not end up being a massive crash and burn. So yeah, I can say that What Lies Beneath, I think it's an A episode. I think really just kind of the only thing I would say is just, I think it's this point where the writers are starting to heavily push on the amount of foreshadowing of Cozy not being what she seems to be. As I said, there were hints about it dropped with her in both Marks for Efforts and frickin' Friendship University, but this episode really starts to demonstrate that she may not be the pony that we were led to believe. But I think that's a notch to the belt to this episode, and with only 4 episodes left, I can't wait to see the payoff. But other than that, this is a solid episode. And after the long string of episodes that were either mediocre or downright terrible, we finally found an episode that's not utter garbage. So What Lies Beneath is an A. Thank God. So that means I have so much hope and build up for the payoff for the last 3, technically 4 episodes, but I am so ready for this. Alright, so next time we are going to be looking at Sounds of Silence. See you guys next time. Bye.